Let's be honest, what would you do if you one day woke up on a random island or a beach? Would you panic, or would you feel a sense of adventure and excitement? Would you search for clues as to how you ended up there, or would you focus solely on finding a way to survive? In this uncertain and potentially dangerous scenario, the decisions you make could mean the difference between life and death.
Hello! Hey! I was sleeping in my bed and all of a sudden I wake up here on this beach somewhere south. I think it's south because there's no snow. I think I'm in Portugal, somewhere south. Anyways, welcome to day one here in southern Portugal somewhere.
Luckily for me, I woke up on a beach in southern Portugal. Probably because last night I was dreaming about a place that had beautiful scenery, warm weather and plenty of opportunities to relax. For a long time I wanted to go to a place that had epic cliffs, hills and hikes near the ocean, so that I could enjoy some FPV drone flying.
I brought with me 4 batteries on this trip, 4 FPV drone batteries, and I only had time to charge 2 of them today, and I brought the wrong 2 with me that had no charge in them, only a little bit because they were in a storage mode. I feel a little bit stupid because I only got to fly 1 minute. I carried all this FPV gear with me and only got so little to fly. Lesson learned, double check all your batteries before you go out and preferably charge them all.
Southern Portugal is famous for a bunch of things, but mainly for the sick beaches and dope seafood. I mean, you got Praia da Falésia, Praia de Alvor and Praia do Castelo, all with super clean water and sand so white it's brighter than your future. But wait, there's more. The Algarve is also home to some awesome historic sites like Silves Castle, Roman ruins of Milero and Lagos Roman Bridge, all with stories that will blow your mind. I'm going to be spending 4 days here, so if you're down for some fun in the sun, mouth-watering food and fascinating history, pack your bags and come on down. Just make sure to bring sunscreen or you'll be looking like a tomato before you know it. Faro, the capital city of Algarve region in the southern Portugal, is the perfect gateway to one of the most popular tourist destinations there. But Faro is just the beginning of what the Algarve has to offer. There are many other popular cities and towns to explore, each with their own unique charm and attractions, including Lagos and Albufeira that we'll be visiting later. After arriving to the airport, I picked up the rental car and drove to the city, which is only 10 minutes away from the airport. Renting a car is a great way to explore all of southern Portugal, but like with most European cities, the streets are narrow and parking is impossible to find. And when you find it, the parking machines only accept coins and the app only works with local credit cards. So I just accepted that I might get a parking ticket someday. Spoilers, I did. One of the things that really attracted me here, teleported me while I was sleeping, is the opportunity to try surfing. I tried it once before in Norway and it was one of the most exhilarating experiences of my life. Even though I fell off the board more times than I can count, I love the feeling of being out on the water, the rush of the waves and the thrill of trying something new.
Hello! Good morning! Welcome to day 2. Today I am really in pain because yesterday I got so sunburnt in my neck and in my arms. So yeah, I'm in pain. But today is an overcast day, still a little bit sunny and beautiful weather. Welcome to my vlog.
But yeah, let me tell you, walking on the beach and hearing the waves crash is one of life's greatest pleasures. First of all, it's free massage for your feet, and who does love a good foot rub, am I right? But seriously, the sound of the waves is like music to your ears. It's so calming and soothing. It's like all your problems just melt away. It's like Mother Nature's own personal masterpiece. Just don't forget to snap a few selfies to show off to your friends back home. So now you're probably wondering, why are the cliffs in southern Portugal so red, huh? Well, let me tell you, It's all about the rock. These cliffs are made up of sandstone and clay, which have this cool thing called iron oxide in them. What the heck is iron oxide? Don't worry, it's just a fancy way of saying rust. So I was out for a leisurely stroll on the beach when I spotted something in the distance. It was dark, ominous shape. So I yelled, "Shark! Shark!" But when I got closer, it turned out to be a bush trimmed to look like a shark fin. I felt relieved and embarrassed at the same time. Lesson learned, approach beach bushes with skepticism. Since it wasn't a real shark that was going to eat me, I decided to eat it instead, or whatever they had on the menu, before joining a scuba diving lesson to find a real shark. The colorful houses in this port are probably owned by rich people who can afford to live in a place where every single house looks like a skittle despite being of average size. But let's be real, they are not fooling anyone. After signing my life away, I was ready to experience diving for the first time. But before going out in the open sea, we had to practice the basics in the pool, or as I like to call it, survival of the fittest. I quickly discovered how heavy and difficult the equipment was. Even though I looked ridiculous, I couldn't wait to hit the open waters and see what else diving had in store for me.
Turns out the diving was cancelled because the sea is so rough and then there's waves. So we got to go on the boat and into the sea, but the boat was jumping and the sea is unpredictable, as they say, and it was quiet when they checked in the morning, but now it's rough, so they cancelled everything and I didn't get to try diving.
Suddenly I had an idea. Why not go on a nearby hike up to the top of a cliff to take in stunning views of the coastline? And even better, why not bring my FPV drone and capture some epic footage while I'm at it? So I grabbed my drone and started hiking. Despite the cloudy weather, the scenery was still breathtaking. The waves crashing against the shore, the seagulls soaring overhead and the salty breeze on my skin. As I reached the top of the cliff and launched my drone, I felt a sense of freedom and exhilaration that I had never felt before. Who needs diving when you can soar above the clouds and capture footage that would make even National Geographic jealous? I may not have gotten my diving fix, but I discovered a new passion that day. And I'm pretty sure I burned off enough calories on that hike to justify a few extra beachside cocktails. Win-win! Now for some history. Let's go way back to the prehistoric times. Yeah, we're talking about the Stone Age, baby. Archaeologists have found some seriously old artifacts in the region, including cave paintings and stone tools. Imagine living in the Algarve before air conditioning was invented. No, thank you. Fast forward a bit to the Roman Empire. The Romans loved Portugal almost as much as they loved their togas. They built some impressive stuff here, like the bridge in Alcantara and the temple in Evora. They also brought with them a love for wine. You can thank them for the delicious Vinho Verde and port wine that Portugal is famous for. But let's be real, the most exciting period of Portuguese history was during the Age of Discovery. Portugal was a major player in the exploration of the world, thanks to guys like Vasco da Gama and Ferdinand Magellan. These dudes were like the Indiana Jones of their time, except with way less fedoras and way more scurvy. They sailed the seas in search of spices, gold and new trade routes, and they found all of that and more. Of course, with great power comes great responsibility, and sometimes great greed. Portugal established colonies all over the world, including Brazil, Angola and Mozambique. This led to some, shall we say, questionable behavior on the part of the Portuguese. But hey, at least they gave us the pastel de nata, so we'll forgive them, maybe. Side note, some people think that Christopher Columbus and Marco Polo may have been Portuguese as well. That is wrong. Christopher Columbus was a Spanish explorer and Marco Polo was a Venetian merchant, where today we find Venice. It was an own country before. So, not Portuguese. Man, let me tell you, flying an FPV drone over water and between steep cliffs is no joke. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. The fear of crashing and losing my drone was bad enough, but trying to avoid obstacles while maintaining control and keeping my drone from falling into the abyss below was next level stressful. One wrong move and it was game over. Sure, I was scared out of my mind, but there is something about pushing yourself to the limit and coming out on top that's so satisfying. I'm not gonna lie though, my hands were shaking like crazy afterwards. I was so excited to go kayaking, but when we got there, the waves were rough. Again, and they had to cancel all of it. Again. I mean, I get it, safety first now, but I was really looking forward to it. Because there are these caves by the sea that you can swim inside, and there's a hole in the roof so the sunlight can come in, and I really wanted to go inside there. It looked epic on the pictures, but since it was cancelled, we decided to instead hike to the place where this cave is located and look at it from above. To be honest, I'm kind of happy that it got cancelled, because paying 50 American freedom monies to be cramped with all the other tourists in this little cave is not worth it in my opinion. But anyways, I got to experience it on my screen by flying the drone into the hole, so good enough I guess? I wanted to find a spot that was away from people, but still had some interesting terrain to fly around. That's easier said than done. I eventually found this spot between some steep cliffs that was absolutely epic for flying. The only problem was that it was pretty remote, which made it hard to get to and even harder to find a good landing spot. But once I was up in the air, it was all good. The feeling of being completely alone in the middle of nature was indescribable. It was like I was in my own little world up there. At the end of the day, finding a good spot to fly was just as challenging as the flying itself.
Okay, it was so much fun to fly FPV between those rocks and cliffs, and was really nerve-wracking and shaking, but I did it. I was scared to lose my drone, but at some point I thought just send it. But now plan was to fly drone a little bit, but it turns out the airport is right by the city, so you cannot do that. We drove a little bit further out to get out of the airport zone, and I want to fly over that strange water that you see when you arrive here. Last day here in Portugal. We are currently in Lagos, which is beautiful, this city by the beach, which they all are. We had lots of sun, lots of vitamin D, waves and beautiful cities and just relaxing atmosphere. Now we got to see the Roman bridge, and it's named like that because it was probably built by the Romans, but you cannot go on top of it. But it's no problem for us because we can fly FPV or our drones on top of that. No people. Okay, please don't come here. I just need to do a quick shot. Okay, nobody. Goggles on. Tourist place. So stressful.
On one of the hikes, I attracted a lot of attention from the other hikers. It was like I was performing for a crowd or something. At first it was kind of cool, but afterwards I started to get even more nervous and shakier than usual. I felt like I was under a microscope with everyone watching my every move and waiting for me to crash or mess up. It was like my hands had turned into jelly and my heart was beating so fast. In the end, I managed to keep my cool and pull off some pretty sweet maneuvers, which earned me some cheers and applause from the crowd. Haha, nah, not really, people kept staring at me, so I had to run away and hide. Portugal is the oldest country in Europe. Well, not really, but it's in the top 10. Having been established as a kingdom in 1139, it's amazing to think that this small country has been around for almost 900 years. Portugal also has the second oldest capital in Europe after Athens. And another fun fact is that the Portuguese is the 6th most spoken language in the world.
€5? Oh no!
After getting the parking ticket on my last day, I decided to head back to the beach where we were staying and enjoy the sunset, my last sunset in Portugal, which I did until my camera fell into the water and broke.